Today we're going to talk about Google. And in particular, we're going to talk about getting good at Google. Getting good at Google searches so that you can learn something. Everybody learns on Google, right? Well, maybe not. Sometimes when I tell people who ask me a question to go home and Google it, they said, I tried that, but I didn't get anything. Well, today I'm going to try to help if that is the case with you. For an idea or a process, Google just one word, like crowdfunding. Someone on the Seniors Computer Group board recently suggested that somebody put together a presentation on crowdfunding. So, I went up to my search box and put in crowdfunding in a new tab. And here I get crowdfunding from Wikipedia. You often get that. And if you click here, it'll take you to Wikipedia and it'll talk a lot about crowdfunding. That almost always works for an idea or a process or a company or a process. Well, I said process already. A one-word thing that you're trying to understand. And one of the best places is just go to Wikipedia. But that's not always the case. Very often, you are trying to learn how to do something. How to do some particular thing in your computer or in some program in your computer. And in order to get the answer to that question, you need to organize your question. I'd like to suggest that you try this system. You try to set up your question in the Google search box with these three elements. First of all, where am I trying to do this thing? Am I trying to do it in my computer? Am I trying to do it in some particular part or program of my computer? Second of all, what am I trying to do? This needs to be a verb. This needs to be the thing that you are trying to accomplish. And thirdly, you need to explain to Google what it is that you're trying to do. And if you can, get these three things into single word portions of your question so you end up with either 3 words or 3 very short phrases that cover each one of these points. Now let's try to show you an example of using this where, do, what system to try to do a particular thing. Supposing that you are here in Microsoft Word and you want to indent something. Supposing you have A, B, C, D, and you have them over here lined up right as beginning paragraphs, and you want to move them over to indent them, like this where, do, and what is. Well, I happen to know that up here is a place called Increase Indent, and if I click that, they all move over here. When I take the highlighting off, there, I've accomplished what I wanted to do. But supposing I didn't know where this was or what it did, how would I find out using Google? Well, I would go over to my browser or open it if it were not open. And in my browser, I would type where. The first thing is, where am I looking for this? I'm looking for it in Microsoft Word, W-O-R-D. And I'm actually looking for it, since I know from past experience that Word changes from year to year to year in their instructions. I'm looking for it in my version of Microsoft Word, which is 2010. And what do I want to do? What is the verb that I want the system to accomplish? That is indent, I-N-D-E-N-T. And what do I want to indent? I want to indent a paragraph. And I can abbreviate that P-A-R-A. Now, if I click my Google search, I will get a place to go for Word 2010 about using indents and tabs. And if I click there, I will find a video to watch all about indents and tabs. I will find written instructions on how to indent using the tab key, using the ruler, creating or adjusting a first line indent, and to use the indent tabs, one of the options is this same increase indent icon that we found, and this one directs you to. Let's review the rules. Where do I want to go? Well, I want to go to Microsoft Word 2010. And what do I want to do when I get there? What is the verb that I want to accomplish when I get to Microsoft Word 2010? I want to indent something. And what is it that I want to indent? What thing do I want to have this verb operate on? I want it to indent a paragraph. Those are the rules, and that's what worked in this particular case. Now let's talk about something more generic. Not a particular program in your computer, but your computer itself. Let's find another example of how to look for something, asking, where are we going to look? What are we going to do when we get there? And what are we going to do that to? Supposing we want to know what happens when I close the lid of my laptop, assuming I have a laptop. And how do I change that? Well, first, you go to Google, and you go to Google Search, and you invoke the same three things. Where do I want to do this? Well, I have Windows 10 in my computer, so I want WIN 10. Windows 10 is the where. What do I want to do? Or what do I want to know how to do? That is to close the lid. So I type the verb close. Whoops, sorry about that. Close, C-L-O-S-E. And the next is lid. And I do my Google search. And I come up with a Windows 10 blurb about changing what the screen does when you close the lid. That's what I'm looking for. There are actually 3 different places to go here that purport to give the right answer to this question, and I'm going to show you each one of them. The first comes from a computer manufacturer, Acer. The next one comes from a website called Windows10compatible.com. And the third one comes from answers.microsoft.com. Let's take the first one. it says, type in Control Panel in the search box, click Control Panel, click Power Options, and then click Closing. Choose what closing the lid does. So let's do that. We go to the search box, we type in Control Panel, we click on Control Panel, and then we click on Power Options here, and we find one that says choose what the closing the lid does. And when we click on that, you can change what happens when I close the lid, whether you're on battery or whether you're plugged in. Right now my laptop is set to go to hibernate when I'm plugged in, but do nothing when I'm on the battery. That's case one. Case two, going back to our search results, we go to how to configure Windows 10. We open the link, and it says, sign into your Windows 10 computer with your account, right-click the Start button from the desktop window, and then click Power Options from the context menu that appears. So if I right-click on the Start menu, one of my options is directly to go to Power Options. And I get back to exactly the same place that I did when I typed in Control Panel. Choose what closing the lid does. And the third one, in my Google search result, says, computer won't lock or sleep when the lid is closed. That's the title. And we get there, and it says what to do. Method 1, follow the steps. Press the Windows key plus X, select Control Panel, and click on Power Options. So I'm typing the Windows key, and now I'm typing X, and we come up with the same options as we did when we right-clicked on the Start menu. One of them is Power Options, and once again, we can go to choose what closing the lid does. So once again, I think I have demonstrated that if you want to get good at Google, remember to type into your search box on your Google search box, where do I want to do this? What do I want to do? Find a verb. And what do I want that verb to work on? On what? If you try this a few times, I think you will find that it improves your results in using Google. I hope so.